Hi, it's Tuesday and it's the 22nd of October, and we're here to look at the daily astrology and see if there's anything that we can learn, anything that we can look at and glean some information from, etc. So, the first thing I'm going to do is share the chart so you can actually look at how it looks out in the heavens. Okay, so I'll go to that one and share it. There we go. Right. Okay, so here we go. The sun at 29 degrees of Libra and 38 minutes of arc. There are 60 minutes in a degree. And so you can see that this doesn't, there is no 30 degrees in astrology. It gets to 29:59 and then it goes to 1 again. So well, naught actually of Scorpio. So this time tomorrow, the sun will have moved into the zodiac sign of Scorpio, which is traditionally for some a new year. Actually, some ancient peoples did see the new year as beginning with the breakdown of the current season. Now, of course, in those days, it was all about Europe, unfortunately. So astrology was sort of developed around the Middle East and the Far East and Mediterranean, and was carried kind of out really to the edges of Europe and around the Levant, etc. So it was all about the seasons in those areas, I'm afraid. And so the season of the breakdown of summer into autumn was actually what they were celebrating. And for them, that was the new year because the death was completely responsible for the birth. And this actually is an axiom in my astrology that there cannot be a birth without death. That in great death there is great birth. This was one of the secrets of many of the mysteries around the Middle East thousands of years ago. That the cycle of life was the most important thing, and no part on that cycle actually began the beginning. You could put the beginning anywhere because it's a cycle and it doesn't really have a beginning. Now, astrology finished up with the 21st of March, which was the first degree of Aries as our new year. But there were still New Years out there who said, well, it begins with the death. And I can actually quite see that because if there is a good death, if all the vegetation has the right temperature at this time of the year, is allowed to collapse and to rest, instead of getting an Indian summer, which wakes it all up again and then depletes its energy, etc. If it gets the right things happening now so that the leaves fall onto the soil and rot there so that the nutrients go into the soil instead of being blown away, so they finish up miles away and they don't actually add anything to the garden they came from, etc. So with that good death and then the deep freeze comes all the conditions that are right for the spring and the joyous upwelling of all the flowers and the vegetation, etc. The Aries actual symbol sometimes reminds me of a blade of grass coming up, new shoots, as well as just the ram, the horns of the ram. Okay, so going back to the share again, so share. So yeah, so there we go. There's me rambling on. What did I really intend to talk about? Okay, well, it was this interesting little thing here caught my eye. So Vesta, which I consider to be the ruler for Virgo, is actually opposite Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. And that for me really is interesting, I think, for all you Pisces sun signs out there and all you Virgo sun signs out there. I think more than any other sign, you will be maybe in a position to recognize what I'm about to say. Now, I don't normally pick out sun signs and say, hey, guess what? This is for you. But it sort of really is just for the Pisceans and the Virgoans. And so what does it mean? Right. Well, what we have to do whenever the astrology is looking at two planets opposing each other, they are always on the axis. So this means one sign opposing the other. So it's kind of like a wheel axis. It's like spokes of a wheel. And so that's the first thing to consider. So Virgo here, Pisces there, opposite each other. Excuse me. And this axis is all about preparations and things that are breaking down, because I guess that comes from the seasons. But it's also about health, very much about the well-being of something and the actual fabric of the material things around us. In terms of Virgo, notices small things and wants to tend the small things, wants to sort through things. And if they are robust, if they are vigorous, if they have a future, if they are of sound and solid material, then Virgo says, okay, we keep this. This is good for the future, but this is rubbish. I'm throwing this away. So this is something that Virgo does to maintain the good condition of the earth element and the things that represent the earth element. So the garden, for instance, represents the earth element. Money, finances, your bank statement, whether you've got money in savings, but you're paying high interest on a credit card. Well, in that case, you should be taking it out of the savings and paying off the credit card because you'd make more money that way. These are all the things that intrigue Virgo. Well, that and booking dentist appointments and facials and then booking regular medical appointments, making sure the blood pressure is okay. Anybody with not just a sun in Virgo, but people who have a lot of Virgo in their chart. So let's say they've got an ascendant in Virgo or midheaven in Virgo or a pile of planets in Virgo in the first house, something like this. I have noticed that they nearly always have a big medicine chest somewhere, and it's stuffed full of all these emergency, as they see it, necessary medical pills and ointments and bandages and things like this. There is a deep concern with putting things into a better condition, first aid, if you like. Okay, so there's Virgo building its sandcastles, okay, on the beach. It's the disintegration that this is all about. So you go from this pristine, supposedly very tightly held security around those sandcastles, and gradually, as you get into Pisces, you get towards the disintegration, the total dissolution, the waters rising and washing everything away. So this is very much like the water, the tide coming up the beach and washing away all your sandcastles. So just recently, we've had Saturn also going through Pisces. This has challenged Pisces because Saturn is testing the quality of the Piscean energy and its ability to carry out its intentional traits. So to carry out things like dissolving toxic material, absorbing things and energies that aren't good, taking them within and cleansing them, putting things right for other people, trying to be compassionate, to be empathetic as well as sympathetic, to take everything and dissolve its toxins and to dissolve its poisons and dissolve the hatred and take it into the pure white love of the divine. So that's love with a capital L. And Pisces does this without reference to any sexual activity. That's left entirely as Scorpio's bag. It does it out of this pure, compassionate, non-sexual attraction, love, capital L. And it is the love of the highest order in the cosmos. So the dissolution, the oceans, these are all kind of brilliant symbols, really. And fog, just the way fog stops air from moving around, for instance. And I mean, there were various things, rain, etc. Okay, so if you have a lot of Virgo or Pisces, then you should be more aware of the opposite sign right now, because the two leaders or rulers of that sign are actually communicating. It's like they, let's say they're in King Arthur's time. They've sat at the round table, the zodiac, and they're opposite each other, and they're having a discussion between them. One is saying, no, it's all about the dissolution. It's all about redeeming yourself. It's all about charity work. It's all about being a doormat for others. This is a good thing. They'd probably both agree on that, actually, because they both do service. So I'll take that out. It's all about the dissolution of Earth, says Pisces. And Virgo says, no, it's all about keeping Earth pristine. It's all about the good quality of Earth and Earth symbols. It is not about allowing them to dissolve. This life, this dimension of Earth, with its height and width and depth, so things we can touch and feel, all made out of energy, but nevertheless, we can touch and feel them. This is Earth, material things. Virgo says, no, this is the most important thing. This must be kept in pristine condition. I must make sure that it gets its teeth checked and its pulse read and its blood monitored, blood pressure monitored, etc. And Pisces goes, I can't be bothered with that. What's the point? It's all going to dissolve anyway. We don't need Earth. We don't need earthly things. We don't need to collect money. We don't need to collect security. What we need to do is accept that there is a greater love, a higher power, and one day we will all dissolve into its arms, into its energy. And at that point, that love is all that will matter. And then Virgo says, and so you go round. It's an interesting one. I love this axis. I have friends who are on this axis, and I'm always smiling at when I hear, for instance, the deep criticism of Virgo. So here's a typical Virgo comment. So one member of the family says, "Oh, I did really well. I did such and such at school, or I scored a goal or something." And then the Virgo can't help themselves. And this is because they see themselves as helping other people. This is supposed to be helping. The Virgo then replies, really? Well, yeah, but you know what? You could have done much better. If you'd have done this, this, and this, and done that, you'd have got a better reaction, a better score, a better mark. And of course, when you hear this as an astrologer, you go, oh, could you just have said, oh, wow, how fantastic? It's very hard for Virgo to do that. It's not being helpful. I mean, if you praise something that is just a B plus, then how are they ever going to get an A? The way Virgo sees it. Pisces, on the other hand, also doesn't remark, oh, wow, that's fantastic, because to Pisces, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It's like, it just goes straight over their heads. It's anyway, but they both listen. Or do they? Does Pisces actually listen to anything? Ah, well, I better shut up now. Anyway, I hope that was useful for some things. Crossing that, that's an opposition. We've got Sagittarius and Gemini, of course. These are the four corners of the mutable cross. So I wonder, and I'm just looking at I'm a Gemini sun, right? I've got two planets in Gemini, and I'm discussing this with you, and I'm just about to say this. I wonder if the Gemini or Sagittarius in any of you is looking with interest at this opposition, because not being involved but being set back from it and looking at this happening, I wonder if you're able to make the comparison. I can't believe I've just said all that and then said that. It's just, that's amazing. It's just astrology, really, isn't it? There we go. So thank you very, thank you very much for listening. Me go all around everywhere. And I hope it's useful for if you're learning astrology, it's useful. And if you're a Virgo or Pisces, it's great for you to think about it, isn't it? I'm just going to comfort myself that that's been of some use to somebody. Anyway, thank you for watching. I think you're great to watch, and thank you, everybody. I think you're doing a sterling job. Well done. And thank you for telling all your friends, and keep telling all your friends, because we're getting more and more views now, and we're getting more people coming into the conversation. So we're getting quite a nice little click going in here, and it's all very warm and cozy, and I love the comments and everything. So yeah, keep selling it to your mates and everything. Let's make it something bigger. We don't have to, of course. We can just stay this size if you want, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'm going to stop recording. Shut up, Alison. Lovely to see you again, and see you tomorrow. Bye.